Hi everyone. So today we will talk about the muscles of mastication, that is the muscles which help in the mastication of the food or in the chewing of the food. So in total there are four muscles of mastication: temporalis, masseter, the lateral pterygoid muscle and the medial pterygoid muscle. Okay. Now all these four muscles of mastication arise from the first pharyngeal arch or from the first branchial arch. Okay. The nerve of the first pharyngeal arch is the mandibular nerve, while the artery is the maxillary artery. So thus the nerve supply of all these four muscles of mastication is by the mandibular nerve, while the arterial supply is by the maxillary artery. Now first of all, let's talk about the temporalis muscle. Now see, this is the temporal bone, okay, and the temporalis muscle is situated over here. It is a fan-shaped muscle and it fills the temporal fossa. This upper gap which you can see is the temporal fossa, while the lower gap, see, this upper gap is the temporal fossa, while this lower gap is the infratemporal fossa. Okay. This temporalis muscle takes its origin from the temporal fossa and the temporal fascia. Now temporal fascia is a thick aponeurotic sheet and it forms the roof of the temporal fossa. This is the temporal fossa and its roof. My fingers basically denote the roof of the temporal fossa, which is formed by the temporal fascia, and also this temporal fascia covers the temporalis muscle, which is situated over here on the temple. Okay. Now this was the origin from the temporal fossa and the temporal fascia. Now because it is a fan-shaped muscle, so it consists of three types of fibers: anterior fibers, which are vertically placed; middle fibers, obliquely placed; while the posterior fibers, which are horizontally placed. All these three fibers converge and pass through the gap deep to the zygomatic arch, and all of these will insert on the coronoid process. This is the coronoid process, and all these three fibers will converge and they get inserted on the anterior margin as well as deep to the coronoid process. In the mandible, this is the coronoid process, and the fibers will get inserted on the anterior margin as well as deep to the coronoid process, that is this region. Okay. Coming to the masseter muscle. Now masseter muscle is a quadrilateral shaped muscle and it is present on the lateral surface of the ramus of mandible. This is the ramus of mandible and it is present on its lateral surface. Okay. It has three layers: superficial layer, middle layer and the deep layer. Coming to the origin insertion of the superficial layer. Now this first of all, just remember one thing, that masseter will take origin from the lower border of the zygomatic arch. Now this is the zygomatic arch and this is its lower border. The superficial layer takes origin from the anterior two-thirds of the lower border of the zygomatic arch. Now see, this is the zygomatic arch and this is its lower border. Anterior two-thirds of the lower border, as well as this is the zygomatic process of the maxilla. Okay. So the superficial layer will have its origin from the anterior two-thirds of the lower border of the zygomatic arch as well as the zygomatic process of the maxilla. Its fibers pass downwards at an angle of 45 degrees to get inserted onto the lower part of the lateral surface of the ramus of mandible. Now the fibers of the superficial layer will be inserted over here. Now this is the ramus of mandible and this is its lateral aspect. Over here on the lower aspect or on the lower part of the lateral surface of the ramus of mandible is the insertion of the superficial layer. Next is the middle layer. Now as the anterior two-thirds, from the lower border of the anterior two-thirds was the origin of the superficial layer, now from the lateral one-third is the origin of the deep layer. The fibers of the middle layer will pass vertically downwards and they will get inserted on the middle part or the central part of the ramus of mandible. Okay. Third is the deep layer. Now deep layer will arise from the deep surface of the zygomatic arch, and again the fibers will pass downwards and they will get inserted onto the rest of the ramus of mandible. Okay. Next, the lateral pterygoid. Now see, this plate which you can see, this is the lateral pterygoid plate and this is the medial pterygoid plate. The lateral pterygoid plate has two aspects. The one which you can see is the medial aspect, while on its outer side this is the lateral aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate. Now this lateral pterygoid muscle will arise from this lateral aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate, and its fibers will pass backwards to get inserted onto the pterygoid fovea. See, this is, as you can see over here, this is the lateral aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate. The fibers of the lateral pterygoid muscle will arise from here, or will take the origin from here. The fibers will pass backwards to get inserted onto the pterygoid fovea. In the mandible, this depression on the neck of the mandible is the pterygoid fovea, and over here will be the insertion of the lateral pterygoid muscle. Next is the medial pterygoid muscle. Now medial pterygoid muscle will also arise from the lateral pterygoid plate, but from its medial aspect. So from the medial aspect will arise the fibers of the lateral pterygoid plate. These fibers are the fibers of the deep head, while those of the superficial head will arise from the maxillary tuberosity. Again, these fibers will pass backwards so as to get inserted onto this medial aspect of the angle of mandible. Okay. See, this is the roughened area of the medial aspect of the angle of mandible. So here will be the insertion of the medial pterygoid muscle. Okay. Now once again, just talking about the origin and insertion of all the muscles we have discussed. See, as I told you, this is the temporalis muscle located on the temple, and you can see three fibers very clearly. These are the anterior fibers which are vertically placed. These are the middle fibers which are placed at an angle, while these are the posterior fibers which are horizontally placed. And all these fibers converge on the coronoid process. Okay, that is, they receive their insertion on the coronoid process. This which you can see is the masseter muscle. So as I have just told you that masseter muscle has three heads: superficial, deep and the middle head. Okay, just remember one thing. This masseter muscle will be present on the lateral aspect of the ramus of mandible, will have its origin from the lower border of the zygomatic process, and will get inserted onto the lateral aspect of the ramus of mandible. Okay. Now, this is origin and insertion of the temporalis muscle. I have just discussed right now that they originate from the temporal fossa and the temporal fascia, and they get inserted onto the anterior margin of the coronoid process and deep to the coronoid process. Okay. And this is again the masseter muscle. Coming to the lateral pterygoid and the medial pterygoid muscle. See, the lateral pterygoid muscle also has two heads. This is the upper head and this is the lower head. Okay. So as I told you, this upper head will have its origin from the infratemporal fossa and the crest of the greater wing of sphenoid, while this deep head will have its origin from the lateral aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate. These two heads will converge so as to get inserted onto the pterygoid fovea, which is the depression present on the neck of mandible. Okay. And over here you can see are the heads of the medial pterygoid. See, the lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid, both of these have two heads. The lateral pterygoid muscle has the upper head and the lower head, while the medial pterygoid muscle will have a superficial head while a deep head. Okay. So the superficial head will arise from the maxillary tuberosity, while the deep head will arise from the medial aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate. Both of these converge to get inserted onto the medial aspect of the ramus of the mandible. Basically it is on the angle of mandible, and the medial aspect of the angle of mandible is a roughened area. As you can see over here, on the mandible, you can see that this is somewhat a roughened area. So over here is the insertion of the masseter muscle. Okay, sorry, not the masseter, the medial pterygoid muscle. Now just remember one thing, that both these lateral and the medial pterygoid muscle will take the origin from the pterygoid plate. See, coming to the name, lateral pterygoid, medial pterygoid. Pterygoid word is common in both. So means that they will have their origin from the pterygoid plate. But the pterygoid plate being the lateral pterygoid plate, and they would be inserted on the, sorry, it is the pterygoid plate from where they have their origin. Now, because the muscle is lateral pterygoid, so as the name indicates, the lateral pterygoid muscle will arise from the lateral aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate, while the medial pterygoid muscle will arise from the medial aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate. Remember that both of these will arise from the lateral pterygoid plate. Don't be confused that medial pterygoid will arise from the medial pterygoid plate. Instead, medial pterygoid will also rise from the lateral pterygoid plate, but it will arise from its medial aspect. Okay. So this was about the origin and the insertion of the muscles. Talking to their action. See, the temporalis muscle, just remember one thing, that you have 4 muscles now in total. Out of these, the temporalis muscle, the masseter muscle, and the medial pterygoid muscle. These 3 muscles are the elevators of the mouth. That is, they will help in the closing of the mouth. While in the opening of the mouth, the lateral pterygoid muscle is involved, such that the lateral pterygoid is the only depressor of the mouth. Okay. Coming to the protrusion and retraction, the medial and the lateral pterygoid participate in the protrusion of the mandible, while the posterior fibers of the temporalis muscle participate in the retraction of the protruded mandible. And the last movement of the mandible is the side to side movements or the chewing movements. In this, again, the lateral and the medial pterygoid muscles of both the sides are involved, and they contract alternatively. Okay, so this was all about the muscles of mastication. If you like my video, so do press on the like button, and also if you have not subscribed to my channel, so do subscribe to my channel Fundamental Studies, and hit on the bell icon for latest updates and notification, and also share this video to all your friends. Thank you.